This video has been classified as M. It is recommended for people aged 15 years and over.
A high-profile man accused of rape who has fought to keep his identity a secret can finally be exposed. Georgina Hill has covered this case every step of the way for months. So, Georgie, that man is Bruce Lehrmann.
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to Media Watch. And the worst-kept secret in the Australian media was finally revealed last week after Queensland's Supreme Court rejected Bruce Lehrmann's bid to keep his name suppressed, bringing victory to media organisations like News Corp, 9, the ABC and 10, who had fought to reveal his name.
We have been gagged for months from telling you that Bruce Lehrmann has been charged with 2 counts of rape by Queensland police in Toowoomba. Today, that veil of secrecy was finally lifted and we can now finally tell you details about this case.
And within minutes of the court decision, breaking news alerts about Bruce Lehrmann's 2 rape charges were hitting people's phones, followed next morning by the sort of thundering front pages he desperately tried to avoid.
Rape charge bombshell.
New rape charges.
Lehrmann charged again.
With The Australian outlining the police brief of evidence and reporting that Lehrmann had met the alleged victim at a Toowoomba strip club in October 2021 before going back to her home.
The pair got into bed clothed. After a brief conversation, she said she recalled that they kissed and she told him to put a condom on. She then claimed that she woke to find her legs open and Mr. Lehrmann's penis inside her. She said the next thing she remembered was waking up the next morning with Mr. Lehrmann having sex with her. She said she told him to stop. The woman claimed she felt groggy when he had sex with her a 3rd time.
At the beginning of 2023, Lehrmann was charged with 2 counts of rape relating to that alleged encounter. And the media's desire to reveal his name has been bubbling up ever since, as the case wound through the courts, with cryptic headlines like this starting in January and continuing throughout the year. And in September, the AFR was reporting that newsrooms were set to name the accused because Queensland was about to repeal laws preventing people charged with sexual offences being identified before they stood trial. But Lehrmann's lawyers wanted to keep his name out of the headlines and sought a suppression order, as 9 News explained.
But Mr. Lehrmann's lawyers were granted temporary protections as they sought to have his name suppressed on grounds including it would impact his mental health.
2 weeks ago, a magistrate rejected that request, whereupon Lehrmann's lawyers appealed to the Queensland Supreme Court, only to lose again, with the judge saying the media has a right to report on the case and identify the defendant. And helping him reach that conclusion were moments like this.
Bruce?
Liam, morning.
You ready?
Let's light some fires.
Yes, high-profile media interviews like that one on 7 Spotlight torpedoed Lehrmann's bid for anonymity, with Justice Peter Applegarth ruling...
Rather than lower his public profile and retreat from the media spotlight, the applicant chose, for whatever reason, to appear more than once on national television and revisit events that had triggered his mental illness in early 2021.
The judge also noted 2 other Lehrmann interviews, including this encore on Spotlight in August. Plus, a sit-down with Sky's Sharry Markson the next day, where he claimed to be getting on with his life with his head held high.
Do you feel like you're a victim of the Me Too movement?
Well, in some way, I think that this was never about me.
With Justice Applegarth ruling...
He seemingly felt well enough to engage with sections of the national media and to deal with any resulting further coverage he received from the media outlets he appeared on and other media that followed up on his high-profile appearances.
And in open court, the judge added this quip about Lehrmann courting the media spotlight.
I hope Channel 7 paid him or the solicitor a lot of money for the consequences it has had on this application, if nothing else.
Ouch. So, where does it leave us? The case returns to the Toowoomba Magistrates Court this Wednesday, with Lehrmann yet to enter a plea. As he told 7 back in June...
Everything needs to be out there in the open so people can assess this for what it is.
And that is something we can all agree on. But now, to the secret world of one of our wealthiest businessmen.
Being rich is my superpower.
Tapes reveal Pratt's pursuit of the powerful.
That is Pratt, as in Anthony Pratt, the billionaire king of cardboard and packaging. Pratt's been in the news of late after secret recordings of his private conversations fell into the lap of Nine's Nick McKenzie.
60 Minutes has obtained audio recordings of Anthony Pratt. They reveal the businessman's extraordinary dealings with Trump and a whole lot more.
The whole lot more includes slinging fat monthly payments to well-known political figures.
Internal company documents list consultant payments to ex-Prime Minister Paul Keating of $25,000 a month and to former PM Tony Abbott of $8,000 a month.
Nice work, eh? If you can get it. So, we wondered if Pratt throws his money at the media as well. And it turns out he does, in a number of ways. For starters, he's a big media advertiser with a fondness for running full-page newspaper ads like these. But he's also a big spender on junkets for journalists who accept lavish, expenses-paid trips to report on his business. The takers include the AFR's former columnist Joe Aston and the Australian's Damon Kintney. But there's one journalist who's earned more Pratt frequent flyer points than everyone else combined, and that is John Stensholt, who has travelled to America twice in the past 12 months for The Australian to produce 3 stories on Pratt's expanding empire. And, in case you had any doubts, it's all good news.
New chapter as Pratt opens biggest ever paper mill in US.
Boxing clever.
Box King's audience with Katy. Only a global superstar such as Katy Perry could upstage a $1 billion move by an Australian tycoon atop a skyscraper overlooking New York's Central Park.
And yes, all those stories include this important disclosure.
The author travelled with Pratt Industries.
Which is code for Pratt paid for me to be there. Now, we're not suggesting Stensholt has misled his readers, but it's worth noting how much some of those trips are worth. We believe it cost Pratt more than $23,000 to cover Stensholt's flights and accommodation to report on that Katy Perry PR event in New York, with this amount for Stensholt in Pratt Industries accounts matching the date of December 2022. As a journalist specialising in compiling Australia's rich list, it's not surprising Stensholt writes about Anthony Pratt. But should he be going on Pratt-funded junkets to write favourable articles about his business interests? And it's not just those 3 articles we've shown you. We've found another 5 trips to the US taken by Stensholt before COVID shut down travel, all the way back to 2015, paid for by Pratt Industries or his family business Visy. And yes, the stories, which were mostly for the AFR, are all disclosed and all favourable, talking up Pratt's business brilliance, his political connections, grand plans and incredible riches. And Pratt's family business Visy even paid for Stensholt to go to Cambodia in 2019 for this cheesy feature on Pratt and fellow billionaire Gina Rinehart for The Australian.
Australia's richest 250. Anthony Pratt, Gina Rinehart in perfect harmony.
But it's not just in print where Pratt's money buys media coverage. Back in 2020, Pratt sponsored a 6-part series on Sky News that celebrated the US-Australian alliance, which delivered insights like this on the Australian billionaire from then President Trump.
And he's a great man, and he's my friend, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Anthony.
According to the 9 papers, Pratt was also funding a
$730,000 sponsorship package of Sky News programs hosted by Shari Markson and Alan Jones,
which he cancelled after the last election when Labor won government. We asked Sky what that money paid for and whether it came with conditions, but they did not respond. However, we did better with John Stensholt. We asked him about the $23,000 cost of covering Katy Perry and why he's taken so many trips funded by Pratt or his companies. And we got a reply from the Australian's editor-in-chief, Michelle Gunn, who did not answer those questions, but told Media Watch,
John has never accepted a cent from Pratt Industries or any other subject. Financial and in-kind contributions third parties make to his travel expenses and accommodation are always disclosed, and his coverage has included extensive reporting on the nexus between Mr. Pratt's business and political decision-making. Any suggestions otherwise are totally false.
And we wouldn't dream of making them, with Pratt Industries confirming it has never paid him a cent. But in a quick search of Stensholt's coverage of Pratt's business interests, we found another 11 positive stories dating back to 2018, and none that were negative. If you've ever wondered why there's so much news about the Box King in the media, now you know why. But now to some heart-stopping news about another, even richer billionaire.
Vladimir Putin suffers cardiac arrest, sparking alarm in Kremlin inner circle.
Yes, the season for Putin health scares has returned. Following previous claims that he has cancer, Parkinson's disease and brain tumours, the Australian media was last week pumping up rumours that the Russian tyrant was down for the count.
We have some more breaking news coming into the newsroom. There are reports Russian President Vladimir Putin has suffered a suspected cardiac arrest.
Reports that were also running in the telly, the Hun and the Advertiser.
Putin at death's door.
Reports tyrant had heart attack and uses body doubles.
And also getting a billing on 10 and Sky News.
There are unverified reports out of Russia tonight.
There are unverified reports this morning that Russia's President Vladimir Putin has suffered a suspected cardiac arrest.
There was a time when unsourced and unverified reports went straight in the bin. But today, rumour and speculation is good enough, no matter how dubious the source. And when it comes to Putin's heart, the bar is very low, as 9 News explained.
Reports coming from cloud-based social media site Telegram suggest Putin received assistance until he regained consciousness in his private Moscow apartment last night.
But credit to 10 News, who at least bothered to get an expert to debunk their own story.
I'd treat it with an absolute grain of salt. It comes from General SVR, which is a Telegram site known for fan fiction.
General SVR is full of unsubstantiated claims about Putin, his failing health and conspiracy theories about using body doubles. And in a post last week, it detailed how Putin suffered a heart attack in his bedroom before being heroically resuscitated, along with some dramatic prose, badly translated, about how the strongman convulsively arched while lying on the floor. An awkward line which made it into an earlier 10 bulletin.
The Russian president was rolling his eyes while convulsively arched.
It's not the first time the Western media has used unsourced gossip from this dodgy Telegram account to report on Putin's health. Earlier this month, UK's Metro was mining it to talk up Putin's imminent death. And in December, Forbes tucked into the same Telegram account to debunk a scoop about a poop, or indeed a poop scoop, which had Putin falling over and soiling himself. A claim that, excuse the pun, flushed out a denial from Moscow and this eloquent write-up in the New York Post.
The Kremlin has poo-pooed a report that Russian strongman Vladimir Putin recently fell down a flight of stairs and defecated on himself.
Funny it may be, but also absurd. Does the media really believe a Kremlin insider could leak details about Putin's health and live to tell the tale? Surely not. So, why on earth does the media take it seriously, including the heart attack claim, which, back on the Today Show, was prompting this urgent question to an overseas guest.
Are you hearing anything about that and what that might mean for his leadership?
Nothing credible.
And former Foreign Minister Alexander Downer even weighed in on Sky News.
I would dismiss those rumours. They've come and gone for the last couple of years, and I think they're mainly not true.
And that sums it up. Or as the ANU's Matthew Sussex tweeted after being interviewed on 10 News.
Do I think Putin has had a heart attack? If I wanted to find out, I certainly wouldn't go to Russian Telegram as a reputable source.
Spoken like a man who will never make it as a tabloid or popular news site editor, where clicks are what count. And staying on the theme of ridiculous stories with idiotic sources, it would be amiss of us not to highlight this jaw-dropping news about Cristiano Ronaldo.
Ronaldo facing 99 lashes for Iranian adultery charge, according to report.
Yes, the public lashing of one of the world's greatest football players, ordered by an Iranian court. Who wouldn't want to cover a story like that? With Australia's Fox Sports claiming Ronaldo was
staring down 99 lashes as punishment for adultery in the form of touching a woman while in a relationship.
Or, in his case, hugging and kissing a Tehran-based artist on the cheek after she gave him 2 of her paintings. And here is the damning footage of the pair embracing, which flared across social media with nearly 6 million views and sparked the wild reports, which had Australian radio totally convinced.
Soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo faces the prospect of 99 lashes for adultery after kissing an artist on the cheek for a gift.
So just giving the girl a kiss on the head while he gave her a hug to say thank you. They're saying that's adultery, and if he comes back to the country, 99 lashings on his bare skin.
And before long, viewers of Nine's A Current Affair, which had posted the story to Facebook, were up in arms about the soccer star's fate.
What a barbaric society. This is what's wrong with this world, when you can't call someone beautiful or give them a hug.
Yes, those terrible Iranians. But was it true? No. Iran's embassy in Spain had already debunked the story on Twitter days earlier and praised Ronaldo's humane meeting with the artist. So, where did the tall tale come from? The most impeccable sources, as you can imagine. Most reports in Australia ripped it straight from Spanish news websites without making any checks to see if it was true. And the Spanish websites in turn had done the same by ripping the story without making any checks from websites in Iran. And what was their source for Ronaldo supposedly facing 99 lashes? A viral Instagram post from a grandstanding Tehran lawyer called Ali Gondomi, who was being mocked for the claim by many of his followers. Luckily for the media, there aren't 99 lashes for spreading fake news.
If you require further information or support on issues raised in this program, you may wish to contact the following services: 1-800-RESPECT, 1-800-737-732, Beyond Blue, 1300 224 636.